have Scott
Ceanne.
Pullan with me, and he is a coach and a consultant, and I've known him for quite a few years, and the things that he's taught me in the last few years have totally changed my life. I still hear him in my head, and I wanted to spend some time with him getting some nuggets. So I invited you into the Big Money Influencer to ask you a couple questions, mainly about reaching goals and how to get to your goal and create amazing results in a quick amount of time.
Awesome. Yeah, that's kind of our background together is conversations and trainings around those kinds of things. And there are probably 1,000 different ways to answer that question on how do you reach a goal. I think the probably the most critical thing to cover first is you're probably never going to reach a goal that you don't set. So it's taking the time to actually create a goal so that you have something out there as a target to shoot for. And sadly, the vast majority of people won't even take time to do that. You know, we've all had experiences in the past where maybe we set a goal and then we didn't achieve the goal. You know, and if you've never had that experience, by the way, you're slacking.
Definitely.
If you've accomplished every goal you've ever set in life, you're just not setting big enough goals. So one is being brave and courageous enough to set goals that are out there, right? That require us to stretch and become more than who we already are. I've said for years and years, the purpose of any goal or the most valuable thing about any goal isn't the outcome, isn't the goal itself. It's the person you become in the process of achieving that goal. Because if you can do that, right, if you can set a really big risky goal and achieve it, you can take whatever talents, gifts, guides, you know, tools you used in achieving that and then create even bigger goals. So that's the most important thing.
That's awesome. So what is your, like, if I was to ask you, like right now I have a goal in play, it's $100,000.
Woohoo! I love that pause where you kind of had to choke it down a little bit. Good sign.
Got the picker flies going.
Yeah.
And I am getting to play a big goal. I've set goals before, and 10K, and reached them, kind of didn't reach them and reached them, and kind of went above them, playing in the end more.
Yeah.
What would be your best, like some of your golden nuggets when it comes to, if you were to tell me what's the best thing to do for me to reach my goal?
Oh, that's good. So I think probably the most valuable lesson I've learned over time is accomplishing a goal takes far more than just simply wanting to accomplish the goal. Right? We all know the pain and frustration that comes from not accomplishing a goal. But you never accomplish a goal because you want to accomplish a goal. All the want in the world isn't going to create that. And you've seen that probably yourself, hundreds of times. You want something and you want it so bad your teeth ache, but sadly in the outcome there's something else you want more that becomes a bigger priority. Or you just, you don't have the tools that it takes to actually accomplish that goal.
Gotcha. So one thing that I really love learning from you is, well, one of the first things you showed me in the dojo is getting across the room and all the ways that you can get across the room to accomplish your goal.
Yeah, that whole lesson. And I learned that from a mentor as well, who learned it from his mentor, who learned it from his mentor, who learned it from his mentor. So it's not something that's new or has just showed up in the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And in a lot of ways, it's even biblical, right?
Okay.
There's the quote, Proverbs 23:7, that goes, as a man or woman thinketh in their heart, so are they.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that exercise, that lesson is all about knowing that, this part of us, our brain, which we tend to get really proud of in life, And we've all accomplished things using our brain. I don't want to take anything away from that. But the reality is there's probably more power to create in your little finger than exists in your brain. For most of us, what exists in our brain is fear. So all the doubts, disappointments, frustrations, self-limiting beliefs about ourselves, all the things we were told when we were children. But what actually creates the result is not what we think here in our head. You know, and all the processes and formulas and tools, all those are stored here as well. But it's never those that actually accomplish a goal. You accomplish your goal by changing the way you see things so that things around you change.
Gotcha.
Right. And the way that exercise goes is whatever result you end up creating is an absolutely mirror image of what it is your intention to have created. So the goal isn't wanting something more. The goal is raising your intention such that what you say you want is what you actually accomplish in life.
Can you define intention? Because a lot of people think, oh, I have an intention to do my homework. But when you talk about intention, it's really more than just like I'm thinking about doing something or I'm planning to do something.
Yeah. So, and that's a brilliant question. Because for most people, if you were to have them define their intention, it's like, well, you know, it's like that quote you've probably heard 1,000 times. The path to hell is paved with good intentions, right?
Yep.
That as long as you want and wish for it and hope for it, you're going to get that. That's not at all the definition of a true intention. The best definition I've ever heard of an intention is your most deeply seated commitment. It's that thing you're most committed to creating in life. You know, I always think it's interesting the number of people that get married every year, the number of those marriages that actually last a lifetime. You know, there's a huge difference between wanting something or hoping for something and truly, you know, I mean, knock on wood, my wife, Kim Michelle, and I will be celebrating 40 years come June 6th. And I will not just say it is my intention, but, you know, my intention is that we're married for an entire lifetime. And that takes a whole lot of commitment. You know, I get that it's not a commitment I made one day nearly 40 years ago. That's something I, and probably even more so her, get to recommit to over and over and over and over again. And that's an important lesson with intention as well. It's not just a fleeting thought. It's that most deeply seated commitment you have around the result you're looking to produce.
Awesome. So when you say deeply seated, what does that mean?
Well, I can say I'm committed to releasing weight, but I can have a deeper commitment to the taste of donuts. Right? I can say I'm committed to building my business and building my team, but I may have a deeper commitment to comfort. Right? I don't want to pick up that 500-pound telephone out of fear that someone might reject me. So if I'm not building the team and new people aren't coming in, I know that thing I say I'm committed to, which is building the business, is superseded by something that has more power, that is what I'm truly believing at a heart level, because that would be the result I was manifesting. So it's raising that commitment to that other thing so that that's what you actually create.
Got you. So when it comes to intention mechanism, what does that have to do with building well? I mean,
a loaded question, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to have the intention mechanism, especially the intention in place to build wealth.
Well, and, you know, don't downplay the role that a mechanism plays as well. You know, part of that whole lesson is there are an infinite number of mechanisms to solve every problem. So, you know, the important thing isn't which mechanism you happen to use. A mechanism is just a tool, right? If I'm stuck in a mine shaft and I've got to dig my way out. It doesn't matter which tool I use. If I'm committed enough to getting out of there, any of those tools would work to get me out of that. My fingernails would work if I'm committed enough. So it's your outcome is never dependent on which mechanism you choose, but your outcome is dependent upon having a mechanism. So what average thinking people will do is they'll just over focus on the mechanism, right? When I find the right tool, when I find the right company, when I find the right person, when I find the right formula, then I'll be successful, versus not worrying about any of that stuff, but making the commitment to be successful first, knowing that when they're 100% clear on that, a mechanism will show up and any mechanism will work. I mean, the exercise you're referring to, I've never once seen a person with clear intention not be able to walk across that room. And yet I've probably seen tens of thousands of different ways people chose to do that.
Yep, and some of those ways are pretty silly.
And sometimes being successful in life requires being a little silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So how can, if someone wanted to hire you to consult with you or to have you coach them and learn more about being successful and reaching their goals, how would they reach you?
Oh, that's a great question. I find that most of the coaching and consulting I'm doing these days are with people that I'm involved in my network marketing business with. They tend to get the coaching for free, which makes it even better. So I'm always open to being in conversation with people around that. It's interesting though, people ask me all the time, how do I get in business with you? I would never ask anyone just to say, I would never just say, hey, come get in business with me. I'd want someone to have an experience of what it is that I do in business, what I'm marketing, that kind of stuff. So I always, I usually will tell people, hey, before we ever talk being business partners, get some product, give it a try. I found there's a play that works. People try something, they like how it tastes, they like how they feel, they start producing results. They tend to start sharing it with other people. With the company I'm with, by sharing with a couple of people, they can start getting their product for free. Free always tastes a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
And then I find when people are getting their product for free, it's just a natural evolutionary step to then go into, hey, I could probably make some income doing this as well. So, if anyone ever wants to reach me, one thing you're going to find is I don't hide. I'm really easy to find. My email is just scottpullan@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook. I'm pretty much there, several hours every day. Or you can even just text me or give me a call. My phone number is 707-494-4404.
Wow, that's amazing. So generous in giving that out. I know your heart is to really help people and serve people and see people grow, and that's amazing.
Well, I heard years ago, people with nothing to hide nothing, right?
Mm-hmm. That's true. So,
You don't have to be really creative with a mechanism to find me and to talk.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, Scott. I really appreciate it.
Well, it's an honor anytime. I'd love to come back if you ever have need for a little bit more or want a second helping, whatever we want to call that.
Yep. If you want to have anything else to share as a bonus, you can drop that too right now if you have anything else on your heart.
Well, and if everybody wants to learn anything more about that formula you were talking about, the intention plus mechanism equaling result, and again, great way to produce results. To not, literally using that formula, you have no excuse to be stuck anytime for the rest of your life. If they want to learn any more, they can go right back to where you and I learned it in the first place. They can look up Clemmer or Clemmer and Associates.
Yep.
Find a seminar somewhere and go invest a weekend in your future in your life.
Definitely. I remember the first time I left the PM in February, and
Mhm.
I was like, no way am I going to that ALS. And 2 weeks before the seminar, I decided to, um, I wanted to play, I wanted more breakthrough. And in 2 weeks, where I hadn't created hardly any income on my business, I created probably between $3,000 and $5,000, got myself to San Francisco, and played in the dojo.
Awesome. Well, you're definitely a faster learner than me. I think I went back to that class about 130 times. So
Wow.
just finally decided it was time for me to not be teaching the tools, but actually applying the tools every day of my life.
Yep. I've learned they were saying 5 years in the work at the least, but Brian used to say,
Yeah.
yep. So,
See, I was a slow learner too. For me, it was 15 years in the work. So some people just catch on quicker than others, I guess.
well, it changed a lot of people's life through that.
Thank you, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned a lot from others as well.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
Do you want to share your company or anything? Like,
Oh, I hide nothing. I'm with a company called Prove It, Pruvit. And what you sent me a question earlier. You asked me about what it is that I do. And really what I think I do is I help people eliminate doubt and fear and renew hope in what's possible on the planet. So much of what we've learned over the years, if you got any of this white stuff on top of your head, you're old enough to remember the old food pyramid.
yep.
You probably had health classes in high school. And over time, we're finding that very little, if anything, of what we were taught in health class, including what's called the food pyramid, is anywhere close to being accurate and true. So, we live in a world where there's a ton of misinformation. We live in a world where there are a ton of scams, ton of companies that will, do what's called fairy dusting. They'll put just enough of whatever ingredient into something that they can say it's in the formula and then market it. Say that it was on Shark Tank or whatever it was. Yeah, even though in most cases it never was. And people that are just out there trying to take people's money. And so for most people over their lifetime, they've been burned, probably in supplements that they've purchased, or they have what I call network marketing PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in the past, they made a run with a direct sales network marketing company, and it didn't turn out so well. They got burned. That either there was an inferior product, or the products changed, or the compensation plan changed, or the company went out of business and left them high and dry, or just had a rewards plan or a compensation plan that just wasn't workable, wasn't favorable for most people. So I get to spend a lot of time with people that, have doubts, are skeptical. And by the way, I love skeptics. Those are the people I love talking to most. And I think it's because I tend to be a skeptic. I went through college on a debate scholarship and coached debate for about another 7, 8, 9, 10 years. I don't remember. So I was kind of trained to question everything. But I'll take and work with a skeptical person any day before I'll work with a gullible person. I'm not looking for people that are gullible. They'll join you. They'll be part of the team for a couple days, and then somebody else offers something else, and they're in the wind and they're gone because they're just gullible. So
Right.
I welcome those people that are skeptical, because there are opportunities out there that are rewarding, and there are products out there that are pure and natural and truly healthy, not synthetically manufactured like so many things are in the world. So, I just like anyone out there that would be looking for, and maybe this isn't you, but anyone that could use some more energy, maybe improved mood, maybe some better focus and concentration, improved sleep, and improved fat burning. those are the people I spend most of my time working with. And at all ends of the spectrum. Some of my favorite customers are ladies and men that are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s because they're seeing the benefit of renewed health in ways, that they don't find possible in very many other places. So,
Wow, I had no idea. Think about the product and like the weightlifters and the young go-getters.
well, as the research goes on, I'm more excited about what I know these drinkable ketones are doing for my brain every day than they've ever done for my body. It's like any weight loss or body composition change. That's just a Benny, but my brain is sharper and clearer than it's been for years, and I'm committed to keeping it that way.
That's good. I better go drink my ketones. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to add before we stop?
Gosh, you sent me some questions earlier.
I can ask you the questions. You kind of answered.
Yeah, I think I've answered a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
You asked a great question about what makes me unique, or what makes the product unique.
Yeah, what makes you different than your competitor?
Huh. I think I probably have enough experience and background in coaching and mentoring that for people I am blessed to work with, they get more than just an associate. They get a trained coach and mentor along the way as well. But I don't think that's my greatest strength. I truly believe my greatest strength is my heart for people. I'm not in this to make a buck. I'm not in this to make a quick buck. I want to make sure that anyone that participates is seeing results and they're benefiting and they're excited about sharing with other people. But if there's some income along the way, that's okay. I'm not going to turn it down, but I really have a heart for others, and I love to share. I've said for years, my purpose in life is to be a light of life and love and illuminate a path for others to follow. It's just, for me, a couple of years ago, the path changed in a different direction, and that's just life. But I'm still living my purpose every day and just passionate and excited about that. What makes the product unique, like I said earlier, is, when I first started 3 years ago, the word keto and ketones was pretty foreign to most people. But now pretty much everyone's heard of ketones or ketosis. Go to the store, there's probably a whole row of products that either say they're keto friendly or they're ketone friendly, or that maybe they have a splash of ketones. And at best, what they have is synthetic ketones. We're the only company in the world that offers a product that has natural, bioidentical, meaning they're pure, they're absolutely identical to the ketones your liver produces, and they're created through a fermentation process. So your body recognizes them, absorbs more of them. You get faster benefits and longer benefits than any other product. Pure and natural. That's the way to go.
That's awesome. So you had talked about people like in and out of different network marketing companies. And, you listed some reasons. What does it take, like the tenacity? Because I've tried several different network marketing companies, and sometimes I love the product, love the people, sometimes not so much. But it takes a certain tenacity, a certain person or certain plan to be successful. What would you suggest, or a tip for somebody that wants to build a network marketing company or a business?
You can go back to the beginning of this call and focus on intention.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Right. Again, a company, a product, they're simply mechanisms, right? They're tools to get you from point A to point B. But there are a multitude of respectable companies, respectable products out there in the world. So often, people are just looking for the grass that's greener on the other side of the fence. I had a mentor one time say, no, the grass is greener where you water it.
That's good. I like
Where
that.
you are, give it 100% of your intention and your commitment. It's like working with people in marriage and relationships. Is people contact me and say, I think I need to get out of the relationship that I'm in. The scariest part is most people have never been in the relationship in the first place to get out of it. It's like drawing a circle on the floor. It's like, how far into that circle do you have to be? How much of your body do you have to have in the circle before you're in the circle? If you step 1 foot in, are you in the circle?
Nope.
An arm and a leg, are you in the circle?
Nope.
No, you're not in that circle until every bit of you, right? Until it's got your full commitment. So oftentimes if people say, hey, I'm looking for a different company, it's, my advice is give the company you are with 100% before you ever consider going somewhere else. Because if you're only 50% there, odds are you're only going to be 50% in the next one as well. And the outcome's probably going to be the same.
Yep, exactly. That's good.
And whether you're in a network marketing company or running a business of your own, self-employed, employee of someone else, you owe it to yourself to be fueling your body with the purest, natural, cleanest fuel source you can every single day. Garbage in, garbage out, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're running your car off of gas you found in a gas can, and your dad shed an old rusty gas can, it's probably not going to run as clean and as efficiently and effectively as it's going to as if you put premium fuel in that. So
yep,
I can help you find some premium fuel.
If I'm learning that with my car, she wants premium fuel.
That's right. So does your body.
Yep. Do you have anything else that you want to add that is on your heart before we end?
Just wishing everybody well.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, here's a last tip. You want a fun one?
Yes.
I was working with a mentor yesterday. I have a lung condition that I've been blessed with. It's been almost 20 years, and most people that know me would never even know that I have this lung condition. It's called sarcoidosis. So I have scar tissue in my lungs. One lung is about a third scar tissue, and the other lung is about half scar tissue. So I was working with one of my mentors yesterday, and he has several family members with similar conditions. And he said, "Hey Scott, I want to share a tool, a technique with you that a doctor of mine just shared. I've never heard it before." So his tip was put a frown on your face. Go ahead and try it, Ceanne. Put a frown on your face, and with that frown on your face, take in a deep breath. And now just take that frown, put a big smile on your face, and take in a deep breath. You notice any difference?
Definitely. A lot deeper with a smile on my face.
Lot deeper breath.
Mm-hmm.
So, it helps me to remember, smile more, be happy, and take deep breaths, one at a time, one after another, and that's how lifetimes show up.
I was watching a YouTube video and they were talking about weight release. And they were sharing that a lot of our weight's released through our breath.
Yep, you breathe it out.
Yep, I had never heard that before. It's very interesting.
And the burning in the cells of your body is dependent upon the amount of oxygen. So keep yourself saturated, deep breaths in, deep breaths out.